And I'm on mute. So, hey guys. Okay, I knew there would be some kind of tech issues tonight, so wish me luck. I am on remote location for the very first time ever for Just Jax Guests. So, that may not be the only techie issue we have. So, thank you for any of you that are joining. I am glad to see people starting to come in. We are live on LinkedIn, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube. I appreciate that people have been following Just Jax because it is not just about me sitting here talking. You know, I love to travel. You know, I love mental wellness and reentry, but it's really about highlighting a whole bunch of people. And it's really about making sure that people that have reasons to share their information get heard on as many platforms as possible. Tonight, you're going to hear from some great people. They are willing to share themselves more than just on my show, but in an anthology, guys. It was just released a few days ago. We're going to talk all about that. But before we get started, there's a couple other things that I want to share. First of all, thank you for Noni being here and Sheldon and Dr. Tanya and Kenneth. Hopefully you can hear now. For a minute, I was muted, so there was a little delay on LinkedIn. I am super excited to share a few different things tonight before the guests come on stage. First of all, I have a surprise guest that has not been listed on the event page yet. You're going to get to see this person in just a minute. This means that I've met yet another amazing LinkedIn connection live and in person. Before I do the unveiling of that awesome person, I'm wondering if any of you have any guesses who it could be. The only hints I'm willing to give you right now: number one, this person is not in the anthology that we're going to highlight tonight. Number two, this person does not like selfies. And those of you that know me know I like me some selfies. So it's going to be an interesting surprise in just a minute. But before we unveil that human, I just want to share again that I am on location. I am using Wi-Fi from a hotel in Chicago. It's windy. I'm way up high in this hotel. I have nothing to plug it in to make sure that I'm wired in. So if I go off, we're just going to let the co-authors that are highlighted today just kind of run the show until I can get back on. If I can't get back on and it just deletes, then they will be highlighted again as many times as possible. So make sure you're supporting them. Make sure that you're following them. They are amazing, wonderful people that are going to be joining us. But I do want to start off because we do talk about tough topics on here. We talk about things that are really hitting people. And sometimes those things get us in our feels. It can trigger us to have sad moments because we're reliving something about our own life. It may get us excited to want to help other people. It may actually kind of hurt our soul. And there's a lot of people hurting right now. There's a lot of people that are hurting from things that are out of their control, things in their relationships, things in their cities, things in their countries, things that in their workforce or lack of a workforce. And I've had a little bit of shock this week. And actually, while on vacation, I've had a couple different messages that there's been some unintentional hurt that I've actually done to other humans. And so for that, I need to be humble. And I need to be accountable for that. And I'm working on that as well. So if you know that you are responsible for making somebody a little sad, maybe getting somebody a little angry, please take care of yourself and figure out what you need to do to heal that or to possibly repair some harm. So with that being said, I'm ready to unveil my special guest. Are you guys ready? I don't even know if I have any guesses, guys. I mean, some people are saying a few things, but are you ready? Do you want to see this person? Because this person is pretty amazing, even though they won't selfie with me hardly at all. It's been pretty forced. This person deserves to be highlighted for so many different reasons. And Mr. Kenny, I don't know why you keep saying that name. It's almost like you're thinking you're with me or something and you know what's going on in my life. Get over here. Okay. Are you ready? I've never done this before. Look who I got. Look at, there she is. That's all you get. That's what she gives me, guys, for a selfie. That is Noni Veroni, Noni Pepperoni. Guys, I love this lady. We have been celebrating her birthday together in Chicago. We have been seeing sights. We have been eating great food. We have been getting to know each other more as humans because we do some work with her business, OZK Studios. We do some trying to support each other for a couple different reasons that we have in common. And now, live and in person, we got to be together. It's been amazing. So if you don't know where I'm from, I am not from a big city at all. She knows her stuff. Like that lady, she has eagle eyes. She can see the signs. She can read the little maps faster than I can even pull out my phone and hit search. So I've been very fortunate to have this time with her. And I was wondering, is it good to do a whole live Just Jax in person, or to do it live at all on vacation and take away from some of the time that we have together. But she was amazing and she was very gracious, and she's just like, no, it's Just Jax on Monday every 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Since I'm in Chicago, it's actually 8 p.m. for us, so it's been kind of cool. So guys, thank you for being here. I see some more people joined, and we've got Lydia, and we've got Noah, and we've got Charles. Let's see if there's a few others that jump it on. Tonight, I only have one laptop. I was not traveling on a train with two laptops, so I can't monitor YouTube, can't monitor Facebook unless they randomly pop up here. Nick, yes, happy birthday to Noni. It was yesterday. And I know she told you, Kenny, but we were trying to keep it on the download to surprise. Wait until you see the very few pictures that she actually took for me. But guys, are you ready? Are you ready? Tom, thank you for being here. Deb, thanks for being here. If I missed anybody else, it's because, sometimes StreamYard doesn't play nice. Also, when I logged into StreamYard today for the first time, it said, guess what? We did all kinds of updates. When they do all kinds of updates, sometimes there's glitches. So again, we're about ready to hear from three amazing humans, and I want to be able to give them as much time as possible. You guys know one of them very well because she was on my show. She was featured, I believe, the second episode, maybe the third. It's been a minute. But it was funny because when she was here, this was one of the graphics that I showed for her. Oh, I forgot to drop that down. Guys, remember I told you I was probably going to mess up a couple different techie things? Well, that just happened. But what I've got is she was launching her co-authors, and she was actually talking about, hey, there's one or two more spots in this amazing book. It's all about we choose to be more than our diagnoses. And guys, now the book launched already. It's out there. I bought it. I bought it in paperback. It's amazing. I cannot even wait to. All I did was I checked all the authors and I checked the chapters before vacation, and I'm going to savor it the minute I get home and read all about it. But I didn't want to go into tonight's show without actually hearing from the three co-authors that are in here first. Now, the first one, of course, dun, 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 she just happens to be not just a co-author. She's the publisher. Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having us, Jackie. Really appreciate it. And you're having your show. You're not even at home.
I know, right? The lighting is horrendous in this hotel room. I got my cell phone light shining backwards at me. I've got two lights. This light will not move. There's a wall there and a desk in front of me. So it's like, oh, that's glaring. The window I've got closed as much as I can, but there's a glare at the top of it. So I'm sorry. You guys already look beautiful. So that's great. I am ready to bring up two of your co-authors. Are you ready to see who else is coming, guys? Da, 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 da. We got Sharon. Hello, Sharon. How are you tonight? That doggone mute button gets
Hello, that mute button, but I didn't want you to have background noise because I know you're remote as it is. I am great, Jackie. Thank you for having us. So glad to be here. Happy birthday, Noni, and thank you everybody who's joining us live and on Team Replay.
Yay, I love that so much. Are you guys ready for the next person? I just learned his name the other day, and I'm still having such a hard time calling him Brian. Like, for real, for real. Brian, welcome.
Hello. Good to see you. Such a pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that technology is working right now. We got all four of us in the house here together. I am so thankful that you guys are all able to join tonight. I want to just have as much time to highlight you guys and to highlight the book. Now, I've been in a couple anthologies, two of with them and Nick and Sharon. Have we been in all like 3 out of the anthologies together now? Okay.
Yeah.
That first one I did was just kind of like what was I doing? It was with a publisher that could care less. They didn't connect any of us as co-authors. And then we were in Beyond Boundaries together, and then we were into the next book. So I actually gifted those 2 books to Miss Noni as part of her birthday gift for this weekend, because I'm sure she's heard all about them and seen some of them, but she deserves the hard copy too, because she's only riding a train back all the way to California in a couple days. Why not give her 2 more things to read or play around with while she's there? So guys, I am so thankful for you to be here. If you guys have watched Just Jax before, whether it's on replay or live, I always try to ask the guests 3 different questions. These questions are not anything that they have to take a test on, or anybody's going to check them out, or anybody's going to, try to give any kind of that's not true or anything. But guess what? I want you to learn about these humans before you actually hear about their stories, why they've chosen to write, why they chose to publish with Nick, why they've chosen to be so transparent and helpful to other people. So I want to start with Miss Sharon. Sharon, one of my questions is, tell the audience 2 things that you are proud of that you have done or accomplished in life. They can be about anything in the world.
Okay, well, I would say the first thing that I have done that I am proud of is that I have not believed one single solitary thing that any professional has ever told my parents about myself from the time I was in utero to now. Because if I did, I would not be here tonight and I would not be anywhere near where I am right now. So, and did you ask me for 2 things? Just one. Okay, the other thing, and I know it's going to sound very cliche, but the other thing I am extremely proud of is raising the young man that I have and doing so as predominantly a single mom.
And he's a co-author. How
Yes.
amazing is that you 2 are linked together in a book that people can read for eons?
It's amazing for that's one amazing reason, but it's amazing for so many other reasons. And if I could just take 30 seconds to say that one of the reasons it's so amazing is because for the first time in his life, he has been given the opportunity to tell his story his way without anybody telling him his story didn't happen that way or to shut his mouth. So
that's huge.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to read his story and to learn more about your son. Thank you for sharing that, Sharon.
Thank you.
We're going to switch over to Brian. And Brian, same question for you. And again, this is just so the audience can get to know you as a human. So when you're ready, unmute and then go ahead and tell us 2 things that you are proud of about yourself. Make sure you unmute, because I didn't do that earlier when I started the show.
There we go. Being unmuted is good. Well, my journey and length of time, I suppose you could say, being an author, if I don't count some of the work that I did in my early days, journaling in high school and writing about some traumatic experiences that happened to me in my late 20s, the passing of my mother and some other things, but just more as this iteration, this Jack Torrance journey and experience, which is maybe 6-8 months, not even a year, which is wild. Just taking much of the psychological, I know I've shared with Sharon and Nick and many others, some of the darkness, some of the things that you try to process these things to become a healthier person in life, and putting pen to paper and then creating worlds that people can relate to, whether they're scary or just entertaining or what have you. So I'm very proud of the work that I've done so far that Nick has helped bring to life as well. With the Silent Canvas and my collection of short stories, there's another Silent Canvas coming in just a couple of weeks. So I'm extremely proud of that work and happy to see the evolution of that. And, my wife talks about unmuting herself, but being a writer, as all of us are here, it's about finding your voice. Sometimes we call it a voice. I think it's an inner voice. And so that inner voice is like an inner child, and letting that inner child realize that some of those things, many of those things that happened to us, frankly, were beyond our control and were innocent. They're things that, that we shouldn't be ashamed of, or that we shouldn't be held accountable to, and we shouldn't be defined by in our whole life. So voicing those traumas and those difficulties really empowers us, and it empowers us to heal and to relate to others and to connect.
I appreciate that so much. And I had no idea who your wife was either until a week or so ago. I'm like, why is she trying to support this author that we don't know who he even is? I thought that was amazing. So one of the things that I think is so powerful that you just said, and God, I want to call you Jack so much. I mean, it's kind of in my name, my dad's name and everything.
That's right on the screen.
But one of the things you talked about is trauma. And so many times, those of us that have had any kind of a trauma, we're kind of either told directly or indirectly to shut up and deal with it and to not talk about it and don't let people know your scary, dark secrets. And unfortunately, that just sets into our brain and it sets into our shoulders and our heart and our tummy. And we end up having more and more mental and physical issues. And I love that we can finally have a way to explain how those traumas and those scary times actually, the more we talk about it, they're still traumatic, but they become just a tiny bit more normalized. They become a little bit more easier to relax and feel comfortable sharing with people instead of thinking every single human's going to judge me or every single human will not understand. Because the truth is, I mean, we're not meant to be alike. We're not meant to have everything the same, but we are so much more alike than we are different. And the more we can support that, and I know this book is literally going to help so many humans do that. Now, I could talk all day about this because I'm so excited that you guys are all so diverse. Your guys' diagnoses are so diverse. The way you talk about your diagnoses, the way you let not just other humans know, but the medical professionals know about how to respond to this. Guys are actually making huge change. So I want to quick get through my other questions for Sharon and Brian. Then I have one question for all three of you, and then you guys can talk about anything you want. Okay, guys, there are a lot of questions coming in. There's some people that are, talking about their own stuff, and there's some people asking you about questions. I want to remind people, if you are in the comments, please always be respectful, not just towards me, but to any guests that are here. Remember that this is important to let them know that you care about their work and their diagnoses and everything that's in between, because you never know when you're going to want to connect with these people or if they're going to want to connect with you. Guys, it's so funny because I actually had an intern who was a baby social worker. Guys, that was like 20 years ago. She is now one of my bosses. She is on my board of directors. Guys, life comes full circle. So you never know. People you're listening to on screen may offer you a job someday. Maybe you want them. Maybe you're going to learn to open up and talk about your personal experience for them. So really try to make sure that you're not just trying to promote yourself in the comments. This is really about Nick, Sharon, and Jack, aka Brian, or Brian, aka Jack. I'm still not sure which one I want to go with. And of course, our girl that's sitting here supporting me in the comments and taking time from her vocation to listen to all of this too, Noni Baroni. So if you guys missed it in the beginning, she did a little cameo. I don't think we're going to get her on screen again. So we're going to stick with these people. Brian, I'm going to ask the next question first to you. Because you guys were willing to share what you guys have done, great, and it's so awesome. We are all still growing every single day of our life. I don't care how many acronyms or certificates you have behind your name. I don't care what age you are. I don't care how rich you are. We're still all growing. So, Brian, would you be willing to share with the audience one thing that you are still working on yourself?
Yeah, I'll share two. Professionally, I'm trying to grow my brand and work on myself in many ways, mental health and physical health and balance. I have a very demanding job that I'll say pays the bills. It's a finance position, and my writing, my family believes, is just a hobby, but for me it's a passion. So there's that balance between finding time with my children and my spouse and my other responsibilities and writing and not waking up 3 a.m. when you're inspired and being a crazy person. So that's sort of the professional. I have many things to do, from building a social media presence that Nick has been helping me with, creating a brand and marketing myself, and all of that. It requires an immense amount of time. They say death is only the beginning. Well, I think writing the book is only the beginning, right? People say that's the hard part. I'm like, no, it's not. Not for prolific writers like myself and these other ladies here. The hard part is really getting it into the hands of the readers and creating this Jack Torrance world. Personally, I'll share this, that I've struggled with inner demons and addiction my whole life. I've never been, thankfully, a drug addict or an alcoholic. I do have some of those in my family, but addiction can take many forms. Addiction can be addictive behaviors. It can be addiction to foods. It can even be addiction to darkness or depression, or just feeling like you don't belong or the world wasn't meant for you. So there's a lot of mental health and those sorts of things that I'm working on and continue to need to work on. So it's what I would call psychological enrichment. It's what I need to do to be a healthier person. I've come a long way. but there's still some areas that I really need to spend time and I guess you could say fix or work on. So that's what's on my radar for the rest of this year and going forward.
I love that. And my guess is we're a work in progress every single day, no matter it's the end of the year or not. So I'm excited for you to grow in
Yes.
both of those areas. I'm going to support your business page. I am going to kind of like go like this when I'm reading the horror stuff because I have to do that even with like the video clips for like a trailer of a new horror movie coming out. I'm like, or I get nightmares, guys. Like I can still relive some of the horror nightmares I had from high school. Like I remember songs that were in them. I remember the way people looked when they were chasing me or when something was going on. So maybe one of these days we need to talk and you could actually put some of my dreams into one of your horror novels.
I'd love that. Yeah.
I've actually thought about writing some movie scripts on it because it's intense.
Can I just say he's gifted that way? We've had some of those conversations, and I can't say for sure, but I have a feeling that some of those conversations have trickled into some of the short stories.
I love
Oh,
that.
for sure. I probably need to give you credit, and certainly Silent Canvas 2 and 3 are, I will say, much scarier and going to be a much more intense experience for the audience, for the fans.
Oh, I can't wait.
That is exciting. So I'm part of a book club and I have these amazing book club gals. And when we pick which books we are doing, some of them are like, let's do that one that's, got this murder mystery suspense. Let's do a horror. And I'm like, no, that's not. Yeah, I have enough stress in my day job. If you don't know, Brian, I work with people that have committed crimes or those that have been victimized by crimes. And it's like, when I go into a book, I want to just be off in a little fairy fantasy land and I don't want to have that extra, but people are encouraging me. So I'm going to I might need to start with one of your short stories so that I don't feel like I got to read a whole scary thing at one time. So I'm excited about that. Sharon, for you, what is something you're growing on or what is something you're working on specifically right now?
I am continually working on my ability to show up unapologetically as me and not worry so much about what other people think about whether my eyes are looking in the right direction, whether I'm talking too much or anything like that. Because some of it is just a personality trait that I have inherited from my genes, and some of it is actually related to my neurodivergence. So I used to show up in a room and be so worried about if I didn't behave perfectly or act perfectly, I wouldn't be accepted. And that puts a lot of pressure on somebody. So you wind up like tripping over yourself. So I'm leaning into more and more just showing up as myself. If I overtalk, I've learned that it's the other person's responsibility to politely say, we hear you. We know this is whatever it's going to take to be polite and move it through. We both, when we're conversating, we both have responsibilities. So I would say that that's one of the things that I'm really working on. That and trusting my own instincts, because because they're related. That's why I'm bringing them both up. Because I have that insecurity, I often question, am I being too sensitive? Am I seeing this right? But I know that I'm very intuitive, and I know that my intuition usually gets it right. I mean, nobody's intuition is always right, but usually gets it right. So I'm leaning into trusting my own intuition. And those are the two things really that I'm working on right now.
And Sharon, I appreciate that. The first comment you made about your eyes looking wherever, I've been harping on Noni about that because that girl avoids the camera like crazy. So she's doing it intentionally just to drive me crazy, but I love her to death though. But I appreciate you saying that because not only do we all communicate differently, we emote differently. We share different expressions differently. And can you imagine if every human looked just like Jackie when she's talking? If you ever listen to any of my videos, whether it's one of these replays or one of the videos I post on LinkedIn, if you need a laugh, turn off the sound and just watch my face. I touch my everything. My mouth is all over the place. I get so excited. And yes, that's my neurodivergency. Today I talked with my doctor about that and she's just like, you are all over the place today. I go, welcome to my world. Yep. And it's just what we have to embrace. So I appreciate you embracing that. Now, Sharon, if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, no matter about money or vacation time or anything, where would you go right now?
Oh my God. So I've been thinking about this question since it hit my inbox, and there's like three that are like tied. So I'm just going to throw them all out there. One is Australia, one is Hawaii, and one is Alaska, but specifically to go whale watching with my son because he's always loved ocean life since he's very little.
I
So those are three trips that I have really, really wanted to take. Along with those being, I do want to travel more within the states as well. I have traveled to some interstates and even to the Caribbean when I was younger, but those are my three tops.
I love that so much. I hope you get to all of them. I want to go to Australia so bad as well. I think I've been to all 50 states, so I never
Hmm.
thought I could make it to Hawaii. So once I made it to Hawaii, that was one of my challenges. I did go to Alaska in very late August, early September. That was my 50th state.
I remember that. I followed you on that trip.
Not one whale to be seen. I got to tell you, I went at the wrong time of the year. So do your research or figure out what boat you need to get on to get out farther. However, Cabo, Mexico, so many whales, and
Really?
that was the beginning of February because they're starting to mate. So all the boys are
Oh,
showing
well,
up.
then maybe I have to shift. Maybe I have to shift from Alaska to Cabo because it's really not about Alaska. It's about the
It's
whale
about the
watching.
whales. Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope that works for you. I love that. I
Thank you.
hope someday that we get to actually see each other in person. I
Me
can't
too.
remember. I started losing count. I think I've been over 200 LinkedIn connections that I've gotten to meet in person. Noni, another one. I'll be
Wow.
meeting a few other people later this year. So hopefully that crosses paths too. So good luck to you in your travel. Brian,
Thank you.
where would you go right now if you could go anywhere?
Well, since Sharon has three and on her wish list, I'm going to throw out three as well. And just a little dark humor, if you would have, since you've been to all 50 states, prior to my serious diet, if you would have come to the Jersey Shore a couple of summers ago, you could have seen a whale. I would have been out there. Um,
Noah just said that too. He's like, the only whale I saw in Alaska was me. I'm like, guys, we need to love ourselves more, right?
that's right. That's right. Well, I'm going to steal one from Sharon. I've always wanted to see Australia. I have seen why it's breathtaking and spectacular. So good for you for being there. I really want to go to Thailand. I've had several friends that went, just they could not stop raving about it. And my son, who wants to move, my oldest son, who wants to move to Japan full time, he lives in California. So I guess it wouldn't be a huge trip for him, but he wants to move there for life. And his mother is from mainland China. So maybe that's the influence there. But I'd like to see Japan. He just doesn't stop talking about it. And he wants to be a police officer in Japan. So, and he's going to go to language school in Japan. So I'll probably have to go at some point to visit him if he does move there full time. But
Yeah,
those would be my three, definitely on the bucket list
I
of
love
places
that.
to see.
I just love that your son not only wants to go traveling, but also has like an agenda. This is how I'm going to get there. This is what I'm going to do. How amazing is that? Something tells me your son might be writing a book before too long, too, or at least a chapter in an anthology.
Oh, yeah, his life is unbelievable. He's lived in Spain and Israel, and his mother's Chinese. His mother
Wow.
has advanced degrees in Hebrew. It's pretty wild. I mean, his whole life story is really very interesting. So he should definitely write a book, for sure. I think it'd be a bestseller because it's so diverse and interesting.
I love that. Nick, maybe a new anthology is children of LinkedIn people that are active online. I love it. Nick, you have been so patient. Thank you for letting everybody that's listening and going to be watching the replay get to learn about your co authors. I am not leaving Nick out, but Nick was on one of my very first shows. So go back and watch her episode. Check out the amazing people. Again, you don't know what you're going to learn until they start sharing because it's not like any of them told me what they were going to talk about tonight. But I asked all the co authors that are here tonight to answer one other question and then they can kind of take it from there. So I'm not going to go through and thank everybody else again for your comments and being here tonight, but thank you. Okay. I really want to focus on the co-authors. Please consider buying their book. You can still do the ebook. You can do the hard copy book. You can do both of them. It's really a powerful book. Look at you. It's something that, we talk about diversity and sometimes people think diversity is only being from a different country or being a different skin color or maybe a different religion. But guys, diversity is in everything. And that's one of the beauties of this book is that everybody comes at it just a little bit different. Even there are a few people that are sharing some of the same diagnoses. But there are so many diverse diagnoses and there's different experiences to everyone. So please, as you're reading it, have an open mind and understand that even if you're saying like, oh, I already know somebody that has that diagnosis or I have that diagnosis, be open to somebody else's experience because they may have a whole different reaction. They might have a different support system or not, or maybe they've had different medical providers that really did not treat them as well as maybe what you have been able to experience, or you have a different level of it. Guys, there's almost every diagnosis in the world that has mild, medium, supercharged, all those kind of things. So please, if you've ever listened to me before, you know I say don't compare yourself. I don't care what it means, just don't compare yourself. So Nick, I want to start with you since I've been talking a lot and we've gotten to hear from Brian and Sharon. My question for all of you, because you guys were so transparent in this story, in this book, what do you want your readers to either learn or experience when they're reading your chapter?
Wow, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Hmm. While I buy myself 30 seconds, can I show you something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can't say no to her. I mean, come on.
It's so sorry, but I'm like just really excited because I just went to my mailbox.
Oh, it's kind of flashing out. Push it a little closer to
your
the camera.
background.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's
Cool.
amazing.
That's
I need
awesome.
you to do it in tank top because I can't do big bulky t-shirts.
Oh my goodness, this is the book club one. This is the book club one, but there's one that says publish writer with on the back of the shirt. It's so funny. Read it.
You have merch. If this shirt, oh my eyes, had a plot,
I'd be
halfway through it.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, my eyes, I got these weird lights going on.
Oh my goodness. I just like so many first on the show. 1 second. And because it's this book, this is our very specialty just for this book. You are more than your diagnosis.
That is perfect.
So I was like, oh my God, Jackie, has been a part of my life like forever.
It feels like it.
Like my biggest supporters, like we text each other. She always is just like that person that can like get me out of my head when I'm like, and my thought just in all of this is, she has Sharon on tonight, who's 20-year-old son, youngest writer ever in my anthologies, turned 21 today. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah, I sent her like a Starbucks gift card because she said he loves Starbucks. And then today is the first time author Jack Torrance is face on camera. Brian Boutte, Sandra Boutte's husband. So many firsts, and now you saw the first showing of my gear. And I love the fact that all of these firsts are happening right here, right now on Just Jax. I find it very fitting that it would happen with one of the people in, my very close circle. So to answer that question, okay, so I am diagnosed with bipolar 2, and that diagnosis wasn't like accurately diagnosed for a long time. My dad is bipolar 1, and just a regular physician diagnosed me with typical depression, pulled something off the shelf, Zoloft, said, here, take this. And I did, and it did make me feel better. But I still struggled. And the thing is, I didn't know. I figured like, okay, I'm doing a little bit better, and this is what's supposed to happen. I hope what people get out of this is it's really hard when you're in it to put yourself outside of it and recognize that you need help. Right? And have a lifeline. It does not have to be your spouse. It could be somebody online. Have a lifeline so that you set up some sort of a SOS call, if you will, a word so that this person understands when you are in jeopardy, when you are not in the right headspace. Because in my chapter, you will learn that I allowed myself, even though I knew the right thing, to spiral, right? And oftentimes, even with a diagnosis, a treatable one, a treated one, we do that. We think we're okay and we push the medication to the side and then we spiral. So I think it's very important for you to have a lifeline, somebody that's going to, you know to start calling the right people before you hit rock bottom. That's what I hope to take out of my chapter.
Ooh, that is powerful. I'm going to follow up on that and say that that lifeline, guys, it's going to look different for all of us. Like Nick said, it might not be your spouse, it might not be your parent, it might not be your best friend. Different people are going to give you that vibe of, oh, I don't want to talk about that, or oh, it's really not that bad. Hey, aren't you just glad you're alive? Oh, aren't you glad you don't have this compared to what this? No, those are not your lifeline people. Those are your friends. Talk about other things with them. Your lifeline people are like, Nick, here I am. What do you need from me?
Mhm.
Sharon, do you want to talk today? Do you need me to leave you alone today? Brian, you know what? What works for you today? Because yesterday you said this worked, but today you're not doing this. What can I help you with? Or just a simple text, I care about you. You
Exactly.
know, your lifeline needs to work
Mhm.
for you. And you don't need to be tough and strong and do it by yourself just because other people have shot you down, or maybe they haven't supported you when you have shared or when you did ask for help. Even if it's been a counselor or a doctor, go find another freaking counselor or doctor. Find another lifeline. Don't give up. Find a support network like some of the things that Nick shares on her shows. Find those people that really can connect with you. However, guys, that whole mental wellness hype thing, I have it, but I'm licensed, okay? There are so many people out there saying, I support mental health, mental wellness. That's great, but please don't start diagnosing people and don't tell them that
Correct.
you know exactly what they're going to do, because don't do that to you. Don't do that to the counseling
Mhm.
profession, and don't do that to that individual that may take your word as law, and they may go off into thinking this is the only thing they need to do because it worked for this one person you knew. Please be very mindful who you go to. That's what I'm going to say on that.
Absolutely.
Brian, guys, I didn't even realize this was your first time showing your face live. This is so exciting. I love this. Noni did her first. Ah, hey,
And
look
you
at
know what's funny? Sharon is probably like his number one fan. It's like being his publisher and having to keep his identity secret. It's
love
signed
it.
a contract by us, just so you know. But there was a little change in
Yeah,
necessity
I love that.
to bring him out. And so therefore I am like just sitting here tickled pink that he's here in
Wish Sharon.
person, and like his number one fan is like sitting next to him. Oh my God, I'm dying.
Oh, I love that so much. What perfect timing. I'm so glad you three could be together on the same night, because that's not always easy to coordinate schedules, but that makes it even more meaningful. I mean, just having you guys as humans here is important to me, whether we have one viewer or 500 viewers, you know. But with that being said, guys, we've got quite a few different countries in the house already. I've already seen Canada, I've seen Philippines, I've seen the UK. Guys, there's a lot of people that are learning about who you are, and I appreciate that. So, Brian, if you're comfortable, what would you want people to learn or experience when they read your chapter?
Yeah, so for those that don't know my situation, I was diagnosed around the sixth grade with having significant learning disabilities, reading comprehension issues, dyslexia, and that alone is challenging, But I grew up, as maybe some of the people on the in your audience grew up in the late 1970s and 1980s, and in that time, and unfortunately it's still reality today, bullying was a big part of growing up. Even if you were the normal kid, maybe you were skinny, you weren't athletic, you looked a certain way, you had pimples on your face, but if you take the middle school awkwardness and mix that with almost practically being illiterate and not being able to do what you have to do in school, which is understand books and comprehend what you're reading and get in front of your classmates and read and do group projects, you really feel like an outsider. You feel like you don't belong. You feel really less than. And so for what I feel like is very vital and critical, especially as teen suicide is rampant for a lot of different reasons. Bullying certainly is a big part of it. Is that this diagnosis, like many other diagnoses that people have or have struggled with in this book and just in the world, doesn't have to define you. It doesn't limit you. It's part of your journey. And my struggles with dyslexia, reading comprehension, and bullying were obstacles, but they were also the fire and the crucible that forged my resilience. And I try to show that in my storytelling with my own form of empathy and connective, I guess you could say, like a mutual understanding between the writer and the reader. I like to say that my learning disabilities, I refuse to let them silence me. They force me to find new ways, creative ways to be heard. While others, could read easily and could communicate easily, I had to fight for that understanding. But this fight made me a deeper thinker, a better listener, a listener with greater empathy and could understand others a little bit deeper. And I just try not to just tell stories, but I try to uncover every word with a breath and a pulse on every page that are really going to resonate and stir something up within people. And I just want young people to know that it doesn't have to not only define you, but it doesn't have to, you can be more than the diagnosis in so many ways. You can blossom later in life as I did. And, just don't let it hold you back. Understand your value and your worth, and whether you believe in God or energy, the universe, whatever is your higher power, know that you're here for a reason, and you're here called to do great things. So don't let these diagnoses or other people define you in any way. Know your power and know your worth.
Can you imagine if every single human knew their worth? Guys, the chances of us even being born, I mean, what are the chances that our biological people connected and found each other and got together? We are so important. And Jack, Brian, I'm going to always, Jack's going to be your primary. I'm sorry. It's just the way it's going to be. The fact that not only and Nick wants to jump in so bad, give me a half a second and I'll go to you. The fact that you, learning disabilities, dyslexia, now freaking published author multiple times and co-author in this trilogy. Hello, guys. Some of us grow up hearing, oh, you could be anything you want. And reality is there are some things that maybe we shouldn't want to be because that's just not what we're meant to be. However, we have the hope to do what feels right to us. And people that put those limits on us, that's just because they're scared or they're nervous or they don't want to put themselves out there. So instead of saying be whoever you want to be, I'm going to say don't limit yourself. Okay. And you have shown that so well. So thank you for that. Nick, I'm going to pop up to you before we get to Sharon to answer the question.
I'm just trying to tell Sharon go. She's texting me. She has an emergency with her son Aaron.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sharon, do you need to go then? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
Just go.
But I didn't want to leave without letting you know.
Oh,
okay.
Honey, you're so great. Take care of you. Take care of Aaron. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. And that's what life is all about. Guys, life happens to us in different capacities at different times. Our family is number one. If that's what's important to you, you are number one always. You got to take care of you. So sorry, I didn't get right to you, Nick. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
And that's one of the beauty things about technology is that being able to hear that, knowing that everything is okay, huge. We give Sharon and Aaron our love, and we will definitely have them follow up with anything that they want to put in the comments later as well. Also, Nick, if you haven't yet, if you would be willing at some point in time to kind of refresh that links for all the books, because I know I put that in the event way in the beginning, but we've got some great conversation going in the chat. I don't want that to get lost at all. Guys, I see so many people, they're sharing some of the places that they're from. They're giving some questions to both of you guys. But where do you guys want to go with this? Is there any comments maybe you guys have seen that you really want to make sure to address? Or is there something you were hoping to share tonight that you haven't had a chance to talk about with the book or anything else?
I don't know if they're able to catch it, but if they are, the QR code above me is actually the ebook for it.
I am going to switch you and Brian a minute. Okay, there you go. Then my Jax Guests isn't block in the QR code, see if they can get that.
I was trying to find, there was a particular piece in Brian's chapter that I thought that I would share, and Sharon's as well. And if I could just locate it, I apologize. Um, we talk about the book and what's in it and such like that, but it's really something when you can hear a little piece of someone's story from it, it really takes on a completely different um, feel, if you will. And or if you read some of the comments of what some of the people are saying, not just on Amazon, but on Goodreads, there have been a ridiculous amount of comments. I am beyond like blown away by what's coming. So I don't have something in particular, but I will read the beginning of the book, if that's okay for you.
Yes.
That's okay. Okay. So this is a quote by Deepak Chopra that I really loved. And so I put this in to start. And it says, you can believe the diagnosis, not the prognosis. Um, we choose how we face the kind of life we have been handed. We choose faith over fear, love over anger, serenity over antagonism. Our ability to embrace all of who we are, including our diagnoses, is what defines us, not the diagnosis. Stigma loses its grip when we choose not to be stigmatized. I choose, therefore I am. And I very often say on some of my shows that the stigma starts with me, and it's something that a lot of people that are diagnosed with something don't understand. They would say, "Well, how can you say something like that?" And what I mean by that is, I don't give you permission to view me that way. The fact that you view is your problem. So you can't stigmatize me because I don't look at myself that way, right? So that's what I meant by the stigma starts with me. It's what I give permission to people to view me as and or to treat me as, right? I've proven time and time again to myself and in what I'm doing running a successful publishing company that I'm a bipolar businesswoman. If that's not enough for you to go, holy crap, look at what this girl's doing, then I really don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry I didn't say that. But you know what I'm trying to say, right? I've been there where I have been drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning. I've been there where I sat from the top of the scissor. I've been there where, as an immigrant single mother raising a Blasian son, Black and Asian, predominantly because there's other races, in a primarily white town in West Beach, Long Island. Him being the only child other than girls that were Black twins in the school. So there was a lot to face throughout my life. And then you throw in the bipolar portion of it, and whoa, I was thinking about things that are just things that hit people in life, right? Just everyday things. And that was just my experience. And people hit all sorts of things. Their opportunity less. They're, born into more difficult situations or underdeserved situations, or even to parents that are convicted, right? And now you throw a diagnosis or two on top of that, and then what? So, yeah, I don't really feel that anybody has the right to stigmatize me because this is not the only thing I'm dealing with. So, completely hijacked your show, and
No, I love it. You did not hijack anything, but I do want to go back to that comment you made about if you got a problem with me, it's your problem, not mine. That is like perfect because I firmly believe people bash other people because they feel insecure about something in themselves. We have so much anger and hate going on in our country right now, and it's not just political anymore. It's about, you look different than me. I want you to be worse off than me. I want to make sure that you look bad so I can feel better about my miserable life, or because I'm frustrated, or because I'm scared, or because I have that fear that we talked about. And when you step back and you're like, you know what? You're not really my person, but that's okay. You do you. I can do me. Or, hey, I care about you just because you're a human, but we're not meant to be besties. That's okay too. But why is there hate? Why is there that judgment? Why is there that bullying? Why is that hierarchy of, I want you to be worse than me, or I want to shove that diagnosis in your face, or I want to show that you don't have as much money as me, or you're not as this as me. We've got to stop that. And books like this are without a doubt starting to break the stigma for other people that don't have the support to share what you guys are sharing. Maybe they don't have the tools. Maybe they don't know how to publish a book. Maybe they don't know how to do a live video, or somebody hasn't given them an opportunity to come on a stage to say, I am just as important as you, no matter what I look like, no matter what's going on in my brain, my body, any of this stuff. So thank you for saying that I actually very much appreciate, and I believe full-heartedly. Okay. Brian, I actually called you the right name this time. What else do you want our viewers to hear about, or what else did you hope to share on this show tonight?
Yeah, well, interesting. We're just making a joke about the Brian and Jack. My wife thinks I should be a Gemini, having these two inner personalities. They struggle against each other. I'm a Taurus, however, but
You should be. I'm a Gemini.
she jokes with that. I was reading some of the comments, and there's some really interesting and very deep comments from Erica, as well as another gal, and I'm from Lydia, and really appreciate those comments. And I don't know that I can respond directly to it, but I'll do my best to answer maybe some of the question, or what their comment was. And I do want to say that I do still have a lot of unresolved anger and issues around the bullying that I faced. I was fortunate, extremely fortunate. And in the chapter, it talks about me going to a boarding school specifically designed to help students like myself. And I feel like they saved my life in many ways, at least a life that would have likely gone very differently. So I do think there's privilege, and not everyone has that privilege. My parents were wealthy to send me to this type of school, and I was, I worked hard, and I had to rescue myself. Don't get me wrong. I struggled mightily with teachers, late nights. I had to outwork everyone to just be on the level, if you will. But that said, I am very fortunate for sure, and I recognize that. I tell many people I've kind of had every advantage. But that being said, you do have to be strong, and you have to seek out people like Jackie and other health professionals when you're struggling, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to rescue yourself when life has poured a lot of its crap on you, whether we see it today in the political division and the racial division that's been out forever, and just the hatred and some of the things that fly around, but also things like what I experienced. Just people sometimes want to feel better about themselves by breaking you down, or what have you, and you're just a sitting duck. You're an easy target when you can't read well, and you stutter, and you're dyslexic, and there's so much pressure, and you're just a little kid. My son is 11, and although he's as sharp as a tack, but I could imagine if he had those struggles. Thankfully he doesn't, but you can easily get an 11-year-old off their game. So I just look at that and recognize a little bit of myself then in him, because he's so young, and how I was just decimated by these bullies and people. And even as a now 50-year-old adult, I still can struggle, and that child is still there, with these things, with some of the anger and such. So I do think it's very important in order to reach a healthier place, to admit that you need help. That's the first step, right? Whether it's alcoholism, gambling, or any other type of habit, behavior, or struggle, the first thing is to admit I need help. For me, it's been anger, it's been resentment, it's bitterness, it's that bullying, those obstacles I talked about. And I've seen a lot of therapists and a lot of mental health, and my wife is in the field, but getting that help to me is very critical, in order to become a healthier person. And don't be afraid. People are wonderful, and they will help you.
I love that so much. And Jack, thank you for being willing to share that. I mean, you're a published author, you have a major day job, you have been in other things, you've got all these grand plans for yourself, you have a family, but you're still struggling with some of those things that happened to us when we were a kid at no
For
fault of
sure.
your own. At no fault of your own. And so, anybody that is watching this, I want you to be very cognizant that you are an important human. I don't care what you've done, I don't care what other people have done to you. You are just as important as people that come on this show, people that write a book, people that run a business, people that have degrees after their name. You are just as important. You were meant to be here for a reason. Please reach out to a mental health professional. Reach out to a suicide prevention hotline if that's a concern for you right now. Find those support people like a Brian, like a Nick, like a Sharon, like a Jackie, to get into your world, to remind you that there is hope and we are better together, and we're going to make flaws. I outed myself earlier. I unintentionally harmed a few people that I certainly didn't expect to harm. That's my cross to bear. It's something that I have to make amends to. It doesn't mean I'm a horrible person. It means that, okay, I did something I didn't intentionally do to hurt somebody. Now it's time to just step it up and figure it out so it never happens again. I am so thankful you guys wrote in this book, that you were willing to come on Just Jax Guests today. Guys, we could go on for hours and hours. I know I say this every time because I have so many amazing humans that come to the show and are vulnerable, but are also empowering and exciting, like all of these people are. I feel so much support going out to Sharon right now and her son. I wish she could have finished the show with us. Family is more important. She deserves to be highlighted as much as possible. So go check in with her. Please connect with them as much as possible. Brian, I can't wait until you get a real profile and you get your business out there, to make sure that you can interact and make sure that everybody realizes how amazing you are as a human. And then as a writer, I do think the writer comes after. Super important. You guys are amazing. Please go back and check the comments. Nick, if you want to share any of the comments with Brian, that might be important for him to, respond to or to learn from, so he knows how much he was supported through the show after he's done with this. Once we end the feed, which will be in just a second, you won't be able to really go back and check these. You can always watch the replay on YouTube, but it doesn't show the comments that happen during the show. You have to see those through the LinkedIn feed. So I want to thank you both. If you guys have anything else you were hoping to share that you wanted to talk about, please go back into the comments on this event and really share as much as you want. And Brian, you can either reach out to me or Nick, and we can put any thoughts that you want in there, or any ways to connect with you. If you have a QR code, if you have a website, any links to your silent canvas books or your short stories. We want to promote you guys, not because, we have nothing better to do, but because you guys deserve to be promoted just like any other human. And you're willing to talk about this, and it's good stuff. So thank you both. I appreciate you. I am going to drop you both backstage, and then I am going to just hit on a couple things, and then we're done. It just happened like that, didn't it, guys?
Thank you so much for having us. It's greatly appreciated, and for being so welcoming to the courses.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
thank you.
appreciate you. Brian, so nice to put a face with your name and a name with your name, actually.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie.
Appreciate you. We'll talk more soon, okay? And we're going to drop Nick down. Bye, Nick. Oh, guys, they're pretty amazing, weren't they? So, as I've said before, everybody's voice is important, okay? We make mistakes. We don't always do the best things. We are good humans, okay? If you are making decisions intentionally that are overly not good, guys, there's support out there. There's ways to overcome those addictions or those angry feelings or those remarks or whatever you're doing. If you've heard some of this bullying and you're all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I kind of treat somebody like that way. Guess what? There's ways to learn how to not be a bully anymore. Okay. There's ways to realize that it's okay to love and care about other humans, even if they're not like you, even if they don't believe like you, if they don't look like you. The world is better when we are diverse and when we are welcoming and we are inclusive. I appreciate everybody that has joined tonight. I super appreciate Miss Noni, who has been hanging out here and has taken some of her vacation time with me. If you are late in the show, go back and watch the replay. You got to see a surprise guest of Noni Veroni very quickly into the show. Go back and learn about Sharon and about Nick and about Brian. Check out the other episodes that we've had. We had Dr. Q and we had Chris last week that, I mean, every time I have guests, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're going to talk about. And they blow me out of the water. It's important to get your voice out there. It's important to let other people know that they are just as important as you want them to know they are. You got to use your words sometimes. If you're interested in being a guest on Just Jax Guests, I do have some openings coming up pretty soon. I have a very special couple coming on stage as guests next Monday. I do need to triple check with them before I actually post the event link, but that'll be real soon. They're going to share a whole bunch of fun stuff that I can't wait to highlight as well. There are some amazing guests still on deck, but there is room for more people. I know some of you that are consistently watching, it's in a weird time zone or it's already time for you to be in bed and you're just listening for a few minutes. I understand that and I wish you could join. It's just hard with the time, the kind of work I do, that there's very limited time I can do this on a weekly basis. So please reach out if you have questions. Please follow along. Go back and check out some of the replays. Wish Miss Noni a happy birthday, even though it was yesterday. Send some love to Sharon for her son. And please follow along with these co-authors and get to know people that are in the comments. People that spend time on a show like this really show that they care and they want to learn and they want to make connections. So I wish you all the best. I want to thank you again so much for being part of this tonight and for supporting other humans, guys. It's the right thing to do. So thank you so much. I can't wait to show you next week, but I can't wait to learn from you guys as well. So I'll be off of vacation after tomorrow, hopefully being able to support some more of your shows as well. So make sure you invite me. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much.